Greetings, young strategist! After taking a look at the fundamentals of the game and the resource system, it's time to tackle the most fun part, the unit gameplay. Let's get started! There are 4 different types of units in Noara the Conspiracy. Melee units have a small attacking range. Take Mastok here, for example. His attacking range is just a single box, so we will need to move him in order to inflict damage on our opponent. As you can see, Mastok is not messing around when he bites. You will also find range attack units in Noara. Unlike melee units, these are capable of inflicting damage from further away. Observe Namle's class when he takes up arms. And yes, in Noara, we don't just suffer enemy attacks. Don't be surprised to see your opponents defend themselves in real time and thwart your attack. Tanks are very resilient units and are capable of withstanding significant damage. Let's look at Akuyandi, King of the Krog, in action. As you can see, he has a lot of health points, and he is also able to heal himself via his skill usable during the opponent's turn. Akuyandi isn't the king for nothing. It will take several people to hope to overcome it. Finally, we have support units. These are units that have special skills to assist their allies. For example, they can heal your troops, improve the characteristics of your allies, or reduce those of your enemies. Who better to illustrate what we mean than our dear Chaman Gakbe? You wanted support? Look no further. It's important to know that units belong to castes. These castes provide different advantages to your army, but we will return to these in detail in a later video. Let's talk about gameplay now. Each unit has 4 skills, 1 passive and 3 active. To make things easier, we will refer to each skill using their keyboard shortcuts. So, the 3 active skills are Q, W, and R. Q is the unit's offensive skill that allows you to inflict damage on your opponent. W is the unit's utility skill, and this varies depending on the unit's abilities. For example, this could be a heal, a buff, a debuff, crowd control, and many other skills besides. R is a defensive skill. This is the skill that makes Noara so unique. You can use it during the opponent's turn to counter their attack. You now know the basics. Jakba has closed his boutique and the management turn has finished. It's time to get into the game. Time for your offensive turn. As a reminder, when you buy units, they will appear on your bench and you will need to deploy them on the battlefield in order to use them. To do this, simply left-click on the unit of your choice and an area of deployment will appear. Next, move your cursor over the desired square and right-click to move the unit. Once your unit is deployed on the battlefield, you will be able to perform different actions. You will have the choice to move your unit or not, to equip your items, or to use your Q or W skills. Let's first look at the movement of the units. It's important to know that each unit has a maximum range of movement, and this can vary from one unit to another. To move your unit is very straightforward. Simply select your unit using the left mouse button. Then, a blue grid will appear to show you that unit's maximum range of movement. All you now have to do is right-click on a blue square to move your unit. If you haven't traveled the maximum distance in one movement, you will be able to move a second time in accordance with the range of movement remaining for that unit. You will have noticed that there is a fog of war in Noara. You'll need to be careful when moving, because you may quickly find yourself facing an enemy. When this happens, you have 2 choices. Your first option is to be bold and attack them. To do this, select your unit and press the Q key. An orange grid will appear representing the maximum attacking range for your offensive skill. Then, simply right-click on an enemy that is located on an orange square to attack them and inflict damage. Your second choice is to be prudent and retreat. Sadly, your unit might not have any more moves left. If this happens, note that some units are capable of moving using their utility skill. Let's take Namle for example. His W skill allows him to move a short distance. To do this, simply select Namle and press the W to make a green grid appear. This grid represents the maximum range of the unit's utility skill. Just like the Q skill, all you have to do is left-click on a green square to move Namle. We recommend that you familiarize yourself with the keyboard shortcuts to play Noara. But for those who prefer to use the mouse, it's entirely possible to use your unit skill using the skills bar at the bottom of your screen. Again, simply left-click on the skill of your choice to show the relevant grid. Once your offensive turn has come to an end, it's the beginning of your defensive turn. Unlike traditional turn-based games, you are still able to perform actions during the opponent's turn. For example, you are still able to equip your units and use items, use your stronghold's capacities, or even your unit's defensive skills using the R key. And you can do all this in real time during your opponent's offensive turn. Let's see what happens when our Shaman Gakbei is attacked. Select him with the left mouse button, and then press the R key to use his defensive skill. As you can see, Gakbei just blocked the enemy attack and hasn't suffered any damage. Careful! Your speed of execution will influence whether your defense is successful or not. If you don't press the R key at the right time, Gakbei will suffer damage and be killed. Note that certain W or R skills may have a cooldown time. This time will vary depending on the unit. Manage the cooldown time of your skills as best as you can so that you don't get surprised by your enemy. That's all for our introduction to the unit gameplay. You are now able to move, attack, and defend yourself. You're now ready to start a war. In the next video, we will look at casts and the different possible compositions of your army. If you haven't watched the previous videos, we recommend you click on the thumbnail just here. Many thanks for watching this video, and we'll see you very soon in the lands of Noara.